Hello and welcome back to Greek Speaks. This is our second episode, and we will be talking about the Theogony today and the Titanomachy and that whole shebang. I'm in my dorm room this week, so hopefully the audio is a little bit better. But if it's not, we'll keep trying. The Theogony was written by Hesiod right after the Greeks started writing things down again. So there's like three ideas of ancient Greece. One is this thing called Mycenaean Greece, and that is also called the Late Bronze Age. It's also called the Age of Heroes. So that lasted until about 1200. Everything before 1200 was Stone Age, the Neolithic period, stuff like that. Then we have this section called the Dark Ages. My professor likes me to call it the Geometric period because it wasn't really a dark age. We still have sources from it, and we still have an idea of what kind of was happening, but we don't have any written sources. So when we were mostly relying on those, back in the 1930s-ish, late 1800s or so, we called it the Dark Ages because we didn't have any sources. Nowadays, it's less so of that. And then we have the third period, which is what we tend to think of as ancient Greece. So it's when Homer wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey. It's when Hesiod wrote the Theogony and the Works of Days. And so that goes from about 800 to when Rome takes over and does all that. And then we have other things from Rome. So anyway, so the Theogony it's kind of the Greek creation story. I say it's kind of the Greek creation story because, yes, it's about the Greeks being like, hey, this is how everything came to be. This is why this god functions in this way. But it's also about the rise of Zeus, who doesn't create anything, and is also establishing his world order. Him on Olympus and Hades and the underworld and all that stuff. It first starts out with this idea of chaos, which is literally where we get the word chaos. It's nothing. It's nothingness. One way my professor described it was kind of like before the Big Bang. Like, there was literally nothing. So out of chaos came Gaia, Tartarus. It's what is below the earth. And then Eros. Out of love and sexuality and desire. That's his big thing. And in later myths, he is recounted as the son of Aphrodite and Ares. Out of Gaia comes Uranus, which is the sky, and then Pontus, which is the seas. Gaia mates with Uranus and produces the Hecatoncheires. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. And they are beings that are as huge as mountains, and they have 50 heads each, and they have 100 arms, and all this stuff. So Gaia and Uranus have another 3 kids. They are the Cyclops. They are big as mountains, extremely strong, good with metalworking, and they have one huge eye in the middle of their forehead. And then they, Gaia and Uranus, have 12 more kids, which are the Titans, and they're 6 boys, 6 girls. So eventually Uranus is like, yo, all my kids are ugly, and literally shoves them back into Gaia. And Gaia gets understandably mad about this, and calls to her kids and pretty much says, hey, your dad is a terrible person who wants to kill him. And all the Titans are like, I'm good, this is fine, whatever. But Kronos, this youngest one, steps up and says, I will murder him, I will do the deed that no one else wants to do. They make this plan where Gaia is going to invite Uranus over for dinner, and everything's fine, it's fine. And then once sated, Kronos and 4 of his brothers spring out from the drapes and the house plants and all that. And 4 of them hold down, right arm, right leg, left arm, left leg. The brothers become Titans of the north, south, east, west, respectively. And so Kronos castrates Uranus and throws his bits into the sea, where, mixing with the sea foam and stuff like that, pops out Aphrodite, because that's not weird. After that, Uranus is kind of constrained to the sky. And his blood also makes Erinyes and the Dryads and a bunch of other, minor deities and stuff like that. Uranus is just allowed to go up in the sky. He's not on the earth anymore. And Kronos is in charge. As Kronos is, becoming king of the Titans, he doesn't let out his brothers in Tartarus. Cyclopses, the Hecatoncheires, are still in Tartarus, are still in their mother. So as Kronos becomes king of the cosmos, he starts having kids with his sister Rhea. When Rhea gives birth to their first kid, Kronos immediately swallows her because he doesn't want to be succeeded by his children. He wants to keep what he has. And this happens 4 more times, so Kronos has swallowed a total of 5 people, are gods. Hestia, Hera, Demeter, Hades, and Poseidon. And Rhea is pregnant with a sixth kid. Rhea, flies to Crete, has Zeus in secret, and then comes back and gives Kronos a rock wrapped in a baby blanket. And that's what is in place of the baby Zeus. Zeus gets raised in secret and is kind of, is pruned to be this king of the gods, this liberator of everybody. Oh, and he's born on Crete. So Crete and Zeus are very interwoven. So eventually when Zeus is grown up, he sneaks into Palace of the Titans and gives Kronos' drink that's mustard and wine or some sort of poison. And Kronos vomits up everything. So the rock and the 5 kids. The war that commences is called the Titanomachy. And it goes on for like 9.5 years. And eventually Zeus is like, okay, I need more firepower. And goes down to Tartarus / the underground. Again, it's very odd and convoluted. Releases his uncles, who are the Hecatonchires and the Cyclopses. And the Cyclops make Zeus's lightning bolt, Poseidon's trident, and in some cases, Hades' helm of darkness, which is like an invisibility cloak, but he becomes darkness. So with that added firepower, Zeus starts winning the war again, and eventually they knock out the Titans enough to, become rulers of the gods. And then Zeus has to defeat one more person named Typhonus, which is the offspring of Gaia and Tartarus, and that is his last challenge to become king of the gods. So also after he defeats the Titan Typhonus, one more upstage to his authority, which is Prometheus. Prometheus decides to steal fire from the gods and figures out how to, how sacrifices should be made and all that stuff. And out of punishment, the gods create Pandora. You've heard of Pandora's box. It's actually a Pythos, which is just a big storage container. And she lets out all the evils and stuff in the world. The Theogony is really important, because it's an idea of like how the Greeks saw the world and the natural order of things, and is very interesting on how Zeus did what he did. One thing I've learned over the years and just in college in general is that there is no ancient Greek Bible. While the writings of Hesiod and Homer are really good ideas of what the Greeks thought, it's not everything. This is not the Bible. So there's this, which is broadly accepted. There's also a religion founded on the ideas of Orpheus, like Orpheus and Eurydice, that guy. And that was called Orphism, and they had their own creation story. I haven't read it, I probably need to, but this is not at all the end-all be-all of what Greek religion. The other thing about the Theogony is there's just lists of this is who gave birth to who, this is, 49 of the 3,000 goddesses of the sea that I can't remember the name of right now. So that's the Theogony in very broad, sweeping terms. I would recommend reading it. It's very dense, it's very, this is how this works, and this is who was born of who, and all that jazz, but it is very interesting and shows you a lot about, how the Greeks saw themselves and other people in the world and stuff like that. That is week 2, episode 2. Hopefully I will either find a co-host or a good recording area or something. I'll edit them out, but my roommate came in a couple times during them. So yeah, if you have any myths you want me to look over, I will. If you have any comments, go ahead and put them down there. I forgot to announce this at the end of the last video, we do have a Instagram. It is @GreekSpeak, and it is, I think I have 3 or 4 pictures up there right now. But yeah, if you're wanting to be active with that, that's another vehicle to do that. Have a nice week.